Hi, in this video, we are going to study about another interesting searching approach called genetic algorithm. Genetic algorithm is actually a variant of stochastic local beam search. In local beam search, what we do is we begin from an initial state. We select k states stochastically. For each k, we create k more children so that totally there are k square children. Out of k square, you choose again only k children and proceed. Proceed means you for each of those k, you find k children. Then among those k square, you find k children and so on. So that is called local beam search. When k equal to 2, what happens? So in the population, first you selected 2 with using some probabilistic approach or random approach or whatever it is. You selected 2. Call one as a father and one as a mother. For you combining both the father and mother, you find out some children, and out of them you selected 2. Then they are the father and mother. Then you select 2 and so on. So that is called the genetic algorithm. Genetic algorithm is a variant of stochastic local beam search, or instead of calling it a variant, we can even say that it is a special case where k equal to 2, a father and a mother, and then you proceed, a father and a mother, you proceed. So that is what it is. So let us see some background on how the genetic algorithm was created. Normally, most of our inventions are got by observing the nature. For example, we observed the birds and constructed an aeroplane. We observed fishes on how they are sailing, and accordingly we built the boats and ships. In a similar manner, for example, looking at how the brain works, we have created neural networks. In a similar manner, by looking at the way genetics are happening, the new life is created, we have created the genetic algorithm. Let us look at how human beings have something called a DNA. For every human being, a human being is uniquely characterized by its DNA. The DNA is composed of 2 polynucleotides. So each of the polynucleotide is composed of a cytosine C, guanine G, adenine A, and thymine T. So C, G, A, T. So if you construct a combination of such molecules, that is called the DNA. So for a common man, we can consider the DNA as a sequence of C, G, A, N, a sequence. It may be any order. So that is called a DNA. For example, here GC, GC, UG, UG, UC, GA may be a DNA. So this is how the DNA is formed. So for every state, there is a sequence of numbers. That is called the DNA. For example, there is a father state, which is a sequence of numbers. There is a mother state, which is a sequence of numbers. Now, using these 2 combinations, you can create a child. For example, consider a father and a mother. In some part of the DNA, it is 91%. It shows that the person has interest in music 91%. Similarly, in drawing ability, the artistic capability is 15%. They are represented in the DNA. Whereas the mother has only 18% in the music, whereas for drawing she has more interest, 50%. When they are combined, there are activities called crossover. So the DNA of father, 91% is coming to one child, the 18% is going to another child. So the crossover happens and children are formed. Children have a part of capabilities of the father. That is how the DNA crossover happens. For example, there is a beauty, she's a beautiful girl, 90% beauty, whereas the brainy part is less, 5%. Similarly, there is a brainy who is not very beautiful, 5% and 90%. So it is possible to have 5 child and 90 child, or 95 child or 590 child. All the combinations are possible. So let us look at the child formation from male and female into children. For example, look at it. Male has AGCGC, female has GATTA. Look at it. So it is possible to get a child with, look, AG, and then the rest of the things are crossed over. TTA are crossed over. So that may be a child. It is possible to get another child of GA, and then you cross over CCG. So that can be another child. So this is how crossover happens. So let us see what is a mutation. In the sequence, a mutation is an alteration in the nucleotide sequence of DNA. For example, you look at the right side, tulip flowers have been mutated. People have done research and are in genetically modifying the DNA, and they have come out with a tulip flower where there is a yellow petal. It's possible. There are various types of mutation. So we are saying the DNA is a sequence of numbers. So original is this. For example, one of the cell can be changed, one of the molecule can be changed into another one. The blue can become green. So this is called mutation by substitution. Whereas there is something called mutation by insertion. In some problems, the sequence length is not fixed. It is possible to have varied length of DNA. So in such a case, it is possible to insert, look at it, between this green and this blue, we are inserting two cells. One is yellow and one is red. This is called mutation by insertion. Similarly, look at it. Here is one blue, red and green. You can just delete them. So you can delete 3 cells and create a mutated DNA. Similarly, duplication. So already blue, green, red. So blue, green, red are there, and you can duplicate it. For example, look at it, blue, green, red. Here blue, green, red, and here is blue, green, red. It is duplicated. It's duplicated. It is possible. So this is called mutation by duplication. So in a sequence of numbers, you can play around. That is called the mutation. Mutation by duplication. So taking it and duplicating. They are all called the mutations. So there are 2 interesting properties we have studied. One is called mutation. There are various types of mutations. The other is called crossover. So you take a piece and put it here, you take a piece and put it there. So that is called crossover. With a sequence of mutations and crossovers, from one DNA, you can create another DNA. So each DNA represents a state in the state space. When you are searching for solutions, we have studied about the state space. Each DNA represents a state in the state space, and it is represented by a sequence of numbers. In those, we can do mutations and crossover and create new states. So that is what is called genetic algorithms. Now, let us relook at what is the searching problem. State space is given. We are given an initial state. We are given a goal state. We have all states, that is called the state space. We have an objective function value, and we are looking for an optimal solution. In this background, we are expected to work on it. For example, consider the 8 puzzle game. In the 8 puzzle game, here is the initial state. The initial state has, we have already studied about the 8 puzzle problem. In the 8 puzzle problem, there is a 3 by 3 matrix which has 9 cells. We are expected to position the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 8. So 8 numbers are to be positioned in such a way that only one cell is empty, and this is the goal state. For example, look at it. Here is the goal state. So the goal state consists of the first top left, we call it usually northwest corner. So the northwest corner is empty because there will be only one cell empty, that is empty. Afterwards, the numbers must be in order, in sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is what is expected. So if you want to consider them as a sequence of numbers, what we want is, this is the goal state. Goal state is, initially you must have 0. 0 represents the empty space. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is what is the goal state. So here is the goal state. Whereas, what is the initial state? The initial state is 7, 2, 4, 5, 0. 0 is the empty space. 6, 8, 3, 1. Now, if this is empty, in this initial state, what are the possible actions? There are 4 possible actions. One is 2D. It means 2 can be moved downwards. If you move 2 downwards, you will arrive at this state. This state is 704 526 831. So 704 526 831. Whereas if you can also move 5 to the right. So action 5R will take you into this state. Action 6L will take you to this state. Action 3U will take you to this state. So from this, you are going to this by swapping 2 and 0. Look at it. 2 and 0 are swapped. 2 is brought here. So it is a mutation. So changing only 2 positions and swapping them. So that is one type of mutation. Similarly, from this you can bring it through a mutation. Similarly here, if you do 3U, so 3 is here, you move it upwards. So then you will get it like this. So this is 724 536 801. So this is how it is. So finally, what we do is, everything is converted into sequences, a sequence of numbers. That is called the DNA. Whatever is shown here in green are the DNA of that state. From one state to another state, how do you do? It's by mutation, you can move to another state. So this is an example to understand about the DNA and mutation. How by one mutation, how you can arrive at another state. Let us try to understand it using the 8 queens problem. Consider the 8 queens problem. What is the 8 queens problem? 8 queens problem is, we have a 8 by 8 matrix. We have a 8 by 8 matrix. They are represented by, the rows are represented, the columns are represented by column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7. So they are the 8 columns. Our objective is, in the 8 by 8 matrix, we have to position 8 queens in such a way that no 2 queens attack each other. Every pair of queens to be in non-attacking positions. That is the goal state. However, initially, we may not have the goal state. So for example, you consider this example. Where is the 0th column queen positioned? In the 0th row. So that is why we represent this state using this sequence. So the queen 0, this is queen 1, this is queen 2. So queen 2 is the queen positioned in column 2. In each column, we are going to position one queen. So here, 0th queen can be positioned in any of these rows. Actually, in the first column, we can position from 0 to 7, but we have positioned it in 0. Similarly, queen 1 can be positioned in any one of the rows 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 7. We have positioned it in 2. Second, queen 2 is positioned in row 4, so 4. Queen 3 is positioned in row 6, so 6. So 0, 2, 4, 3, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5, 7 is the DNA of this state. So the state is represented by a DNA, a sequence of numbers. Look at this example. Here, the 0th queen is positioned in column 7. Queen 1 is positioned in row 2. The queen 2 is positioned in row 5. So this is one state. Now, let us come to the genetic algorithm. What are we exactly going to do? What we want to do is, from the entire space, you select any two states. So state 1, state 2. State 1 is called the father. State 2 is called the mother. So we have a population. The state space is called the population. State space. Each state is one person for which there is a DNA. So we choose two. One is called parent 1, which is the father, and the other is called mother. Now, what are we going to do? The father has a DNA, the mother has another DNA. Using these two DNAs, we will do activities called crossover and mutation. It's not one crossover or one mutation, a combination of a few crossovers and mutations can be done. After doing that, we will get child 1. After doing another type of crossover and mutation in a few times, we get child 2. So this is called reproduction. So you choose a father from the state space, you choose a mother from the state space, you do some crossover and mutation and a few combinations of crossover and mutations, give one child, give another child. That's all. Then we can verify whether the children are closer to the goal state than the mother. Actually, that is for which we will construct a function called fitness function. For example, in the 8 queens problem, there is a 8 by 8 matrix and we are positioning 8 queens. And what is the objective? The objective is no two queens, no pair of queens, no two queens can attack each other. So, in any state, if they are in attacking positions, we can count how many are in non-attacking positions. Because we want all of them to be in non-attacking positions. If there are 8 queens and if you want to choose how many distinct pairs are there, 28 are there. Because 8 into 7 is 56. Since the order is immaterial, A, B and BA are considered to be the same pair. They are not separate, different pairs. So there are 28 distinct pairs. So we want all the 28 distinct pairs to be in non-attacking positions. So if you count how many pairs are in non-attacking position, you must be moving towards 28. If you are having 28, then you are very close. You have reached the goal state. So here, for example, we have a function which is called the fitness function. F of x equal to number of non-attacking pairs. For example, in this example, there is only one attacking pair. So, how many are non-attacking pairs? 27. So, this is called the fitness function. For example, here is another example. We are positioning the 8 queens in this way. If you position them in this way, whatever I have shown in red color are in attacking positions. So, how many are in attacking positions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are in attacking positions. It means 23 are in non-attacking positions. 23 are in non-attacking positions. So this is a fitness function. So for whenever you are getting a child, you will have to count what is the fitness function value. Here, for example, if you consider 3275241 as the father, the fitness function is 24. If you have 243748585552, then the fitness function value is 23. What you can do is, from these two, you can create these two children. So there is a crossover. Now you can find out what is the fitness function value for this child. What is the fitness function for this child? If it improves from 23 and 24, it is good. Mutation is just by changing a particular number. After crossover, just for example, this is 1, you call it 1. Similarly here you call it 6. So you can change certain elements. That is a mutation. So you can do reproduction and mutation and you will get children and you can take it forward. For example, what is the genetic algorithm blueprint? Begin the population with at least 2 states. You must find out at least 2 states. They are the initial states. So you have at least 2 states. Find out the fitness function value for the father and mother. Those two states are called father and mother. Find out the fitness function value of f of x for each state in the population. The 2. Select the 2 states, at least 2, you can have some 5, 6, and find the fitness function value for all of them and choose 2 states having the highest value. One is called the father and the other is called the mother. Now keep ready the crossover function and mutate function. We have for each of the mutations, we can develop methods for crossover and mutation. By repeated use of crossover and mutate, so some combination of crossover and mutate, you come out with 2 offsprings and add them to the population. Now you repeat the same thing. Now you choose a father, choose a mother, mutate and crossover and get 2 offsprings, put them to the population. If you continue doing that, at some point in time, you will reach the optimal state because genetically we are improving the fitness function value. So we will reach the optimal value. That is about genetic algorithms. Thank you very much.